good from now on. All right? That's true. All right? All right. Which one? All right. Everybody take a quick look at number 24. Hey, listen. I don't care. Someone said they would like me to do 24, so I'm going to do it. All right. If you haven't done it, go ahead. Copy it down and try to do it. Shh. All right, here we go, number 24. Now, part of the reason why this is a problem, and we're going to fix this with today's lesson, this is not set up as a substitution. When you take the test, I'm not going to say do a substitution if it's not set up as a substitution. But you still need to be smart enough if somebody says, what would happen if you set this up as a substitution? All right? So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to change the second equation. All right, for the second equation, Connor, all right, I'm looking at the 7x and I'm moving it to the other side. So normally what I do is instead of writing an equal sign, I write an arrow to show that I've changed that equation. I've changed that equation over to y equals negative 7x plus 4. Anybody have any issues with that so far? You good? Now, what? No, and the reason why, let me explain why you can't. Because if I solve, I'd have to move the 4y, then I would have to divide by 3, which creates fractions. You could still do it, but it's way a lot more difficult. You hear me on this? All right, so that's why you find the equation that has a single variable with a coefficient of a 1, that's the one you want to solve for. But after today, you won't be doing that anymore. If it's not set up as a substitution, you're not going to do it as a substitution. And you'll see exactly what I mean in a minute. So I'm throwing the 7x over. Now, what does that mean? That means wherever I see a y, I'm going to put negative 7x plus 4. Here's a y right here. I'm going to replace that with negative 7x plus 4. Boys, you guys with me? You understand me? Will, perfect so far. Nothing sarcastic, no looks, nothing. That's how you're going to be. All right? I'm replacing y with negative 7x plus 4. So here we go. 3x minus 4, open parentheses, negative 7x plus 4 equals 15. Everybody good? And now, distributing a negative 4, 3x plus 28x minus 16 equals 15. Everybody okay with that? Now we're combining 3x and 28x. 31x minus 16 equals 15. 31x equals 31. X equals 1. X equals 1. All right? Now, all we do is we sub in. We know that x equals 1, so I put a 1 right in for x. And so now, y equals negative 7 plus 4, so y equals negative 3. My answer, 1, negative 3. All right, listen, that's as hard as it gets as far as the substitution goes. But if you were paying attention, after today, we would solve this, and we're going to learn a totally different method today. All right, that makes that a little bit easier, actually. All right? Now, let's take a quick look at 13, and then we're going to move on. Now, number 13. I think 13 is a little bit easier. And the reason why I say it's a little bit easier is because we already know what the y value is. The y value is what? The y value is already negative 6. All right, so here we go. Shh, it's okay. So if y is negative 6, all I need to know is that wherever I see a y, I'm going to put what? Negative 6. So here we go. 3x plus 36 equals 30. Caroline, are you good or not? 3x equals negative 6. So x equals negative 2. Now, I don't really have to figure out what y is because they already told us that y is what? Negative 6. So my answer is negative 2, negative 6. All right? Now, again, that's a good review. All right? A good review for substitution. Now, what I want everybody to do is I want everybody to open up the addition and elimination method. Pull that up. And I need you to concentrate. All right? Now, I'm gonna mix it up. I'm gonna jump around a little bit. All right. Now, I like the idea where you copy, just move it down. All right. So now, I am going to show you that some of you guys, listen. Look, I've already done a whole bunch of problems here. I've already done a whole bunch of problems, and this is what I'm trying to tell some of you guys. If for whatever reason it's not sinking in, go back and listen to a video. All right? And then that way you can kind of see it again. All right? But today, very, very simple to start out with. Very simple to start out with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab 1 and 2, and then we're going to talk about it. All right? So everybody grab 1 and 2. All right. Now, it's called the addition method for a reason. You're going to do what? You're going to add them. That is correct. Now, look how simple this is. All right. What I want you to do is under 1, I just want you to draw a line straight underneath it. Now, why is it good when I add them? What happens? The like terms combine. But in this particular case, what makes it especially good?
Oh, it's just 0.
That's right. What happens here?
Cancel out.
They cancel out. Remember, your objective is to eliminate a variable. Your objective is to eliminate a variable. So the x's will cancel. All right. Now that the x's cancel, I just have what?
0.
Negative 7y equals negative 28. So y equals what? Y equals 4. Now that I found y, I need to figure out what x is. All I'm doing is I'm substituting in for y, 4. So here we go. I have 4x plus 8 equals 0. 4x equals negative 8. X equals what? Negative 2. So my solution is what? Negative 2, 4. Cole, are you with me? Come on now. Hanson, what about you? Girls, you all right? That's not that bad. Yes, good for you, Julian.
I thought you were plugging in 4 for y.
I did. So now look, very good question. So let's make sure I'm answering your question. That says 2 times y. What's 2 times 4?
8.
That's where this is coming from.
Oh.
Shh, hold on. Julian, you good now?
Yeah.
All right, tell me.
How do you know where they're coming from?
Could I have plugged it into the bottom equation? Yes. It doesn't matter. It always is going to come out to be the same. Remember, these are just 2 lines, all right, that intersect at 1 point. The answer is negative 2 for both x's. And then, believe it or not, the y is going to be the same. It doesn't look like it's the same, but it will be. In other words, if I plug negative 2 in for x, and I plug 4 in for y, guess what I'm going to get? Negative 28. If I plug negative 2 in for x, and I plug 4 in for y, guess what I'm going to get? That's the answer. So if I were to graph this, and we're going to do this more, if I were to graph this and graph this, they would intersect at that point. You hear me? That's what that means. Come on, speak up. Right? I promise you, if you plug negative 2 in for x and 4 in for y, you're going to get negative 28. All right. So that's 1 and 2. All right. Now what I want to do is I I want everybody to take a look at 3 and 4. All right, these are the unique problems, all right, that I want you to take a look at. Just highlight both of those. Oh, I missed number 2. I'm sorry. Thank you. Just hit the back button and it'll pop right back up. All right, so here we go. Everybody take a look. Question number 2. Sorry about that. All right. For question number 2, everybody knows we can just do what? Add them right down. All right. The reason why we can add them is because what happens to the y's? They cancel. So I end up with what? Negative 16x is equal to, and so x is equal to, look how simple, very simple. Now that I have x equals 2, I plug 2 in for the x value. All right, and what's negative 7 times 2?
14.
Negative 14 plus y equals negative 10. So adding 14 to both sides, y equals 4. So my solution is 2, 4. So what does that mean? That means, again, if I graph those two lines, they're going to intersect at the point 2, 4. All right, very easy. All right. Now what I want to do is I want everybody to look up here because I'm going to give you some alternatives. Look up that you have to see. Here we go. So I have this line right here, and I have this line right here. A solution just means where they intersect. Does everybody agree with that? So right there, how many solutions do I have? 1. Very good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you about this now. How many solutions? No solutions because they are what? Because they are parallel. Be no solution. That's what I'm saying. You just keep distracting continuously. Whether it's putting stuff in a bag, then getting up and throwing it in the garbage, dropping your water bottle on the floor several times. I'm just not putting up with it. Now, there's no solution because these are parallel. Now, last thing. How many solutions now? Infinite. Thank you very much. Now, it's not going to be, let me explain because that's a good point. Some people say all real numbers. All right, then somebody say infinite number of solutions. The reason why it's not all real numbers is because this point over here is not on the line. This point right here is not on the line. Every point that's on the line is a what? Is a solution. That's why we say there's an infinite number of solutions. Because how many points are on a line? An infinite number of points are on the line. So an example would be this right here. Is this a solution right here? Yes. Is that?
Yes.
All of these points that are on the line is a solution. And how many points are on the line again? Infinite. This, we say, is an infinite number of solution because it is the what? It is the same line. Parallel lines have no solutions. What?
So if you didn't have an X or a Y,
No, I did not say that. Or I did not say that. We're going to demonstrate right now exactly what I mean. All right? So I now want everybody to look at, find your question 3 and 4. Find question 3 and 4. Now, I want everybody to add question number 3. When you add, what happens to the x's? And what happens to the y's? They cancel. So that's 0 is equal to negative 9. Is that true or false?
No.
That is false. So if something creates something that's false, we say that it has no solution. If it has no solution, again, what I would like for you to remember is that must mean they are parallel lines. All right? They are parallel lines. All right? Does anybody have any questions with this? All right? Now, the next one I want to take a look at is question number 4. It's very similar to number 3, except this time, what happens? We have 0 equals 0, which creates a true statement, which means there's an infinite number of solutions because it is the what? It is the same line. All right, there's an infinite number of solutions. Definitely not this symbol right here, guys. That means every number. Not every point is a solution.
So we would just do infinity.
Infinite number of solutions. Yes, that's good. All right. But more importantly, I prefer that you write what? It's the same line. If you know it's the same line, then you understand what I'm getting at. All right. Now, I'm getting a little bit harder, so I need everybody to listen now. All right, I want to take a look at question number 9 and 10 here. So I'm going to grab 9 and 10. Okay, here we go. Now, everybody look at number 9. Now, can I just add them together this time?
Yeah.
Can I just add them, guys? Come on.
Yeah.
Well, negative x and negative x, does that cancel?
No.
No. Does negative 5 and positive 4 cancel?
No.
So we can't add them anymore. And the reason why we can't add them is because a variable does not cancel. All right? So what we have to do is we have to figure out a way to cancel it. So I wish that negative was a what? Positive. So we can switch the signs, or we can say I'm going to multiply the top equation by what? I'm going to multiply the top equation by negative 1. Now, someone asked me in the last class, how is that possible? So let me try to explain to you why that's possible. If I said to you 2 plus 3 equals 5, and I multiplied the equation by negative 1, is it still a true statement? Yeah, it's still a true statement. Is it different equation? Yes, but it's still what? It's still a true statement. So you can multiply an equation by any number. All right, and it'll still be a true statement. That's why you're allowed to do that. So in this case, I'm just multiplying by a negative 1. Now, the reason why I'm multiplying by a negative 1 is because the x now becomes what? Positive. So it becomes x plus 5y equals negative 28. And now what happens? I can add them, and then when I add them, the x's will cancel, and I end up with 9y is equal to negative 45. And so now y is equal to what? Y is equal to negative 5. Thank you. So now I have to figure out what the x is. Does it matter what equation I plug it into?
No.
No. So I'm going to just come up here, and I'm going to do right here. I'm going to plug negative 5 in for that y right there. I have 3 choices. The one at the top, the one in the middle, the one in the bottom. And I just went with the one that's all positive. All right? So now I would have x minus 25 equals negative 28. So x would equal negative 3. And when x is negative 3, y is negative 5. So if I were to graph those 2 lines, you would see that they intersect at negative 3, negative 5.
How would someone know how to come up with this?
You know, that's a very good question.
That must have
Alright.
been really smart.
No, listen to me. You know, and I always try to tell kids all the time, most important thing, I'm not just trying to get you to think about it for a minute, we have robots on Mars. The reason we have robots on Mars is because it's all math. They're controlling the robot from Earth. Okay, it's all math. And you know what? It's really and truly not that difficult. All right? For someone who studies math. Right? That's why I'm trying to tell some of you guys. You can, honestly, if you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be an engineer, whatever you want to be, you have the opportunity to do that. But it requires what? Work. Hard work. You can't just be a doctor and be lazy. All right, that's what I'm trying to tell some of you guys that are lazy. All right, stop being lazy. All right, decide what you want to do and then go find it. All right, it's much better to learn how to work hard right now than it is try to wait till you're in college because it's too late. All right, get busy. All of this, I say this with complete confidence. This is like elementary math, basic. All right, now it's not basic for you because of your age. All right, but trust me, math never ends. There's no one that's I'm the smartest in math because there's so many different types of branches of math. All right, all science, believe it or not, is proven with what? Math. That's exactly correct. All right, so thank you for that. It's very, very important. Very important. The smarter you are at math, the better opportunities you have. All right? With everything. All right? Now, again, notice here, guys, I have negative 10x and negative 10x. So I'm just going to multiply the top equation by what? Negative 1. Now, when I multiply the top by negative 1, I get 10x equals today's 0. All right? We know. All right. Now you can add them because what happens? Something cancels. All right. This cancels. All right. And so now I end up with negative 5y is equal to negative 30. And so y equals what? Y equals 6. All right. Now that I have y equals 6, I'm just going to plug it in. Does it matter what equation? I'm just going to plug it in right here because I think that's the easiest. So what's 5 times 6?
30.
So 10x plus 30 equals 0. 10x equals negative 30. X equals negative 3. And so my answer is negative 3 comma 6. All right, now, one more thing before you ask. This one is considered medium because I have to multiply one equation. All right? Hard ones are when you're going to have to multiply both equations. Go.
What do you like if you multiply the one things
I did. Negative 1 times 0 is still 0. True? All right, what?
why can't you just go straight down?
Because if I add them straight down, that's negative 1. Because your objective is to eliminate a variable. Good questions. You have to, in order to solve, now, the reason why this is super important is because in the past, we've only had equations with what? One variable. Now you know how to solve equations with what? 2 variables. When you take Algebra 2, we'll show you how to solve equations with 3 variables. All right? Right now, we only know how to solve equations with 1. After this week, we'll know completely how to solve equations with 2 variables. All right? So again, here, you have to eliminate a variable. That's your number 1 objective. That's why you want 1 to be negative and you want 1 to be what? Positive. All right? Now I need to grab the next tricky question. All right? So for the next tricky question, we're going to grab 11 and 12. Okay, so here we go. Here's number 11. Now, does everybody understand what I'm saying? What do I have to multiply 11 by? No.
I think you can't.
Come on, someone's thinking. What do I multiply the top equation by?
Oh, 1?
No.
1? Oh, no.
Why 2?
Because it's on the bottom.
Exactly. Look, guys. What you're supposed to say to yourself is this. Wow, this would be really nice if that was a negative 2. Because a negative 2 and a positive 2 would then do what? Cancel. So I have to multiply that equation by what? 2. The reason why I'm going to multiply it by 2 because that becomes negative 2y. Then when I add them, they do what to each other? They cancel out. All right? So once again, give me a second. Think about what we just said. I'm going to multiply the top equation by 2. Now when I multiply the top equation by 2, I get 4x minus 2y equals 10.
Oh, wait, no.
Now, why is that important again? Because what happens to the negative 2y and the positive 2y? That is correct. They cancel out. These guys now can cancel. Before, adding them would not get them to cancel. You hear me? So now, what's 5x and 4x? 9x equals? 9x equals? Thank you, negative 18. So x equals negative 2. Now I'm just going to throw negative 2 in for x. I'm just going to come right up here. So what's 2 times negative 2?
Negative 4.
2 times negative 2 today is?
Negative 4.
Brilliant. Negative 4 minus y equals 5. Negative y equals 9. Y equals what? Negative 9. Anybody have any issues with that? Yes, sir. Good.
Wait. Oh, you did the top one.
Yep, I did the top one. Doesn't matter. Now listen to me. It doesn't matter. You have 3 possibilities there. You can pick any 3. Any one of the 3, and it would still be exactly the same answer. Quick, good for you.
So would you put so it's negative 2. Could you multiply like
Come on now.
multiply everything by negative 2?
No. Listen to what I'm telling you. Right here. Pay attention. What does y equal? Or what does x equal? X equals negative 2. That means wherever I see an x, I put what? Negative 2. That literally means 2 times negative 2. And 2 times negative 2 is? That's what I did. All right, we'll do another one. Quickly. Come on now. You got to get more in the game.
Does it matter if you multiply the top and bottom? Like not in this column, but like in any column?
No, it doesn't matter. You just have to remember, one has to be positive, one has to be negative, and they both have to be the same. Opposites of each other. What?
Could you multiply, like, again, not in this problem, but like instead of multiplying something to make y cancel, could you make
Yes,
x
yes.
cancel?
You're looking at it saying, what's the easiest way to do the problem? All right, so let's look at number 12. All right, what's the easiest way? What do I do? Good for you, girl. Tell me.
Can you multiply the bottom by negative 5?
How about if I multiply the bottom by 5?
Oh.
Because this one is already...
Negative 5
Yeah, you want it to be a negative 5 and a positive 5. I could have also multiplied the bottom by what? Someone who's thinking?
3.
3. Beautiful.
3.
Thank you for listening. Yeah, pay attention. 100% of the time, you'll be able to answer questions.
Yes.
Multiply that by 3. If I multiply that by 3, the negative 2y becomes negative 6y, and now the y's cancel. But she said to go ahead and multiply the top or the bottom by 5, so we're going to multiply the bottom equation by 5. Come on now. Stay with me. Keep working. You can work for 40 minutes. So I'm multiplying this guy by 5. When I multiply that by 5, I get 5x minus 10y equals 25. Now I'm going to bring down the other equation, negative 5x plus 6y equals negative 17. The reason why I'm doing that is because I don't want to make a mistake. All right? Now, what happens to the 5x and the negative 5x?
Cancel.
They cancel out. So I have negative 10y plus 6y, which is,
Negative 4.
thank you, negative 4y equals 8. So y equals
Negative 2.
negative 2. So now y equals negative 2, we just plug it in. So right here, plug it in, negative 2. So now I have negative 5x minus 12 equals negative 17. Add 12 to both sides. Negative 5x equals negative 5. X equals what? 1. So now my answer is what?
1, comma.
1 comma negative 2. Now, this is considered a medium problem, again, because I'm only changing 1. Now I'm going to give you the hardest I can possibly give you. All right? So here we go. I want everybody to take a look at question, or let's grab 27 and 28. Grabbing 27 and 28 doesn't get any harder than this. All right, here we go. Oh, wait, that wasn't a very good job. 27 and 28, let me grab it again.
You better.
That's exactly right. All right, 27 and 28, here we go. Now, does everybody understand why we have a little bit of problem here?
Oh, because you can't multiply.
That's right. That's right. There's no number I can multiply by. But someone who's been paying attention, let's let Miss May try to see if she's been paying attention. Give it a shot. What do I do? Shh.
Do you divide?
No, we're not dividing.
We multiply both sides.
By what? Come on, that's what you're supposed to be able to tell me. I can say, wow, how smart you are. Shh. And then you can show your mom on the video how I called you out and said how smart you were. However, you got to get it right first.
Do we
Multiply the top by what?
3,
And the bottom by?
7.
You are almost brilliant. Tell him. Correct him.
Oh, negative
Say it.
7.
Why?
Because then they'll cancel out.
Yes. You want 1 to be positive and you want 1 to be negative. All right? So if they're both negative here, all right, you got to multiply 1 by negative. All right, now listen to what he said. Multiply the top by 3 and the bottom by negative 7. You can also multiply the top by 3 and the bottom by 5. Now, why did I say 3 and 5? Because then the what will cancel? The y's will cancel. All right, so let's look. All right, just to make sure you understand exactly what I'm saying. Because once you understand that, it's really, really simple. All right, so I'm going to multiply both of these now. He said multiply the top by 3, and then I multiply the bottom by negative 7. Now, if I multiply the top by 3, it becomes negative 21x plus 15y equals negative 24. And then if I multiply the bottom by negative 7, I get 21x plus 21y equals negative 84. Everybody okay with that? Now, the reason why that's nice is because what happens to the y or to the x's? Yep, they're going to cancel out. So now when I add 15 and 21, I get? So I have 36y is equal to negative 108. If I divide by 36, of course, that is negative 3. Thank you. Y is equal to negative 3. Now it's just a matter of plug negative 3 in for y right there. Plug 3 in for negative y. So that beget, what is that? Good. Negative 7x minus 15 equals negative 8. Add 15. Negative 7x equals 7. So x equals negative 1. So my answer is negative 1 comma negative 3. Honestly, that is as hard as I can make it.
Seriously?
That's as hard as it gets. All right? What?
How come you couldn't use one of the
Oh, you can, I promise you. If,
I tried it.
well, that's just because probably your arithmetic is bad. Which one did you plug it into?
The
This one right here? So I'm going to let y equal negative 3. Negative 21x minus 45 equals negative 24. Negative 21x
That's right,
equals
that's why
21. X equals negative 1. Like I said, your arithmetic. Don't worry about it. Ship you back to 3rd grade. Work on your math facts. All right, here we go. Look at 28. Now I need someone who's been paying attention. I want someone to tell me what we can multiply here. Shh. Somebody tell me. Try. What am I going to multiply by?
The top by 6 and the bottom by -3.
Yes, that's true. I can do better than that, though. What's another choice? Go ahead.
-3, 4.
I could multiply by, listen, she is 100% correct. Also, look what she's saying. 6 and 8 make 24. Right?
Yeah.
So the reason that's a little better because the numbers are a little what? Smaller. So you're right. -3 and +4. If you understand that, this is all easy. It's very simple. Or I could choose.
Could you do like -3 and 7?
That's 100% correct. That's what I'm saying. You have your own ways of doing it. You can do it a little bit different. We're all going to get what? The same answer. If your arithmetic is any good. I'm going to change names, Miss Bain. All right, here we go. Now, let's go ahead and do -3 and +4. And then the x's will cancel. So here we go. -24x minus equals what? 72. +72. Wow. Multiply by 4. 24x plus 12y equals -72. You don't need a calculator for that. What happens to the x's?
Cancel.
So -9y equals 0. So y has to equal 0. Y is 0. Now you plug 0 in for y. So now we have 8x equals -24. Very good. So x equals -3. So my solution.
Or -3, comma 0.
Yes, -3, comma 0. All right. Now I'm gonna do just a couple more just to show you how you should look at things a little bit differently. But I want you to listen to me now. All right. Again, I don't think that's that difficult. All right. It's not right. It's just you got to get used to it. Number one. Number two, you're trying to identify easy, medium, hard. All right. And then just be careful with the arithmetic. The process is the same. You want one variable to be the same number opposite of each other. All right, then you just add them together. That's why they call it the addition and the elimination. You're eliminating a variable by adding them. All right. Now, what I want to do is I'm just gonna. You can just put your whatever down and put your eyes up on the board. All right. You can even close your iPads. All right, because I only have a few minutes. I only have a few minutes, and I want to try to explain to you how you're supposed to be looking at things a little bit differently. And what exactly do I mean by that? I'm trying to find something that I can show you. Shh, quiet and listen.
26.
No, hold up. Okay. So I want everybody to please take a look at number 7. All right, everybody take a look at number 7. Now again, there is a mathematical way to do this. Come on, Laner. There's a mathematical way to do this, and then there's a process of which I'm trying to teach you how to look at numbers so numbers make sense. And I want you to be able to look at number 7 and say, obviously it is what? Obviously, without hesitating, if you can't look at that and say that's obviously no solution, you're not where I think you should be at. Everybody should be able to look up there and say, without hesitating, that's obviously no solution. Now, how do I know it's obviously no solution? Because if I take 4x minus 6y and tell you that it's -10, and then I tell you that 4x minus 6y equals -14, you're supposed to say, that's what? That's not possible. You can't, listen, you can't multiply a number by 4 and -6 and get one answer, and do the same exact thing to those two numbers and get a different answer. So you're supposed to look at that and say there's no solution. And if you look at something and say there's no solution, that means that the lines are what? That means that the lines are parallel. That means the lines are parallel. Now, let me show you something else now real quick. If I would have said, For example, x plus y equals 8 and x plus y equals 8, you would just say they're obviously what? It's obviously the same line. That's what I'm trying to get you to see, Cole. I'm trying to get you to see those are exactly the same. There's no reason to do any math here. The reason why I say there's no reason to do any math is because x plus y equals 8 is the same as x plus y equals 8. So we say there is an infinite number of solutions, which just basically means it is the same line. All right. Now, let me quickly try to say one other thing here for tomorrow. All right. Because I know we're running short here. The bell's about to ring here in a minute, but I want you to listen to me. Tonight, I want you to try to get maybe the odds done. All right. If you want to do the evens, I don't really even care about that. Tomorrow, listen. Tomorrow, we're going to try to finish up in class. All right. So again, get some done. Tomorrow we're going to finish up in class, and then after Thanksgiving, we're going to go through and summarize everything and make sure you understand everything.
Next week.
I said Halloween.
Oh, I don't think you said.
I really don't think you did. After Thanksgiving, that's fine. And you know what we can do till then?